At a young age, I was told by a teacher that I wasn't math brained, and I didn't fully understand what that meant, but it was something I believed in myself. I still had it in my head that I wasn't math brained. And stepping into a classroom as a teacher, I wanted my students to understand that you're free from those labels. So Rocky Balboa is the whole idea of being the underdog, and that when you get knocked down, you get back up again. So I want my students to see that we fail forward. When we make mistakes, we get back up again. When we aren't sure of an answer, we try. It's a safe space to just try to learn and to get back up in that ring and don't throw in the towel. And that's where yes, I can, yes, you can, but together it makes yes, we can. It's what?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, for Yes You Can, it's just one of her main things that she always says that brings you up. When you're maybe stuck with something, she always says, yes, you can, and yes, you will. And I just needed a yes, you can moment for Miss Mill, and I just remembered her every single time. And I've made some clips about Yes You Can here, so she's always with me, and so I always remember her.
Well, before I met Miss Mill, I would say I wasn't a good speaker, or I was more nervous. But she definitely had numbers of activities that we would speak out or talk and collaborate, and now I'm more confident with speaking.
One of the things that Ms. Mo does in her classroom is project-based learning, or PBL. Students are working on an essential or guiding question and then coming up with answers. And these are real-world problems that our kids are working to find solutions for.
So project-based learning is truly helping students connect to the real world with solutions and problem solving. And I think the more of the real world connection of what we're learning, that it's so much more than textbooks. I had a former colleague that actually worked at this school site who had a beautiful baby boy born with a genetic disorder. His toys, for just one simple adaptation, cost hundreds of dollars, and it had to go through insurance. And that kind of just sparked this idea of what if our students were problem solvers in this? How can we make adaptable toys while making it cost efficient?
I made a stuffed animal with a microbit inside, and it played music and it had lights, so it was more of a comfort toy. Some of the other students, they made stuff for disabilities, like kids that can't walk as well or other things.
Yeah, another one of the project-based learning tasks that Ms. Mo brought to Rondo is our Ancient Olympiad. This is something that she had dabbled with at another site before coming here and got our 6th grade team kind of fired up and led the initiative.
So Ancient Olympiad is where all these civilizations go against each other, and she used every single track to include every 6th grader. We have dance, we have skit, and we have a bunch of different challenges that we have to do.
And the amount of learning that goes into that is extensive, right? It's all standards-based stuff, but they're reading, they're writing, they're researching to find answers to these particular solutions.
And I think the more of the real world connection of what we're learning, that it's so much more than textbooks and paper packets and questions, that they actually see that their learning is contributing to our world and truly solving problems. And when one door shuts, kicking it down with my students and saying, everyone's welcome in every single way possible. This is a win for all of us. And it's just my way of saying thank you.